how did this all come about with her? Because it sounds like the minute she went against the, we'll say the Crumbs crew, boom, they decapitated her. That's what this sounds like.
That's right. So it is actually very interesting the way that discipline works at these law enforcement agencies. It's similar in NYPD as it is to DOC, which is the commissioner technically has final say in discipline. What they do is they don't have, obviously, with all the responsibilities that a commissioner has, they don't have the time or ability to go through one by one every single case and decide on everything, right? So what ends up happening is you have this department advocate in NYPD or somebody who oversees discipline who evaluates cases and determines their what's called a recommendation for discipline. It's always a recommendation. It's never final until a commissioner signs off on it. And in the NYPD, it could be actually not only Ms. Litwin or whoever takes her place who gives that recommendation, but the first deputy commissioner. At the time of the Marjorie incident, when Ms. Litwin was trying to pursue and recommend discipline for Marjorie, Caban was the first deputy commissioner. So it's like really the worst luck ever for somebody in her shoes, because he's the one who kept trying to interfere and prevent her recommendation from moving forward. He's allowed to present his own recommendation to the commissioner as well, by the way, as the FDC. And so what's supposed to happen is it's supposed to go on parallel tracks. He recommends, she recommends, and the commissioner makes a final decision. But what was happening was Caban was, putting his thumb on the scale and trying to get her to change what her recommendations were. And in the end, in fact, it's actually, in my opinion, a bit of a conflict of interest here, because he ended up going from first deputy commissioner to commissioner, and he was already involved in this case and trying to manipulate that situation. And then he ended up wearing the crown, right? He ended up being allowed to make that final decision. And once that happened, right, once they were going tit for tat, and then he ended up in power over her, it was over for her. There's just no way. So that's what ended up happening. And that's what happens in law enforcement agencies is the commissioner has the final say, but a lot of it depends on who the commissioner is and who he or she is surrounded by to determine what their power really is and how easily influenced they could be.